This guy's come from the youth setup into the full national team, hasn't missed a beat. And to have the success they've had, how can you potentially bet against Spain from winning yet again another trophy, especially with the talented team that he's got at his disposal?
And on Sunday at 3 p.m, Spain and Portugal will face off in the UEFA Nations League final at the Allianz Arena. Can Spain go back-to-back, or will Portugal spoil the party? Ian, we've been speaking about this competition all week. We had two incredible semi-finals. Two amazing teams in the final. Ronaldo versus Yamal. It feels a bit like a passing of a torch, doesn't it?
It really does, actually. It's very interesting. Obviously, the tremendous age gap is there. There's 5 Ballon d'Ors for Cristiano Ronaldo and someone who's rumoured to potentially have the opportunity of winning it in Lamine Yamal this time around. Very interesting comments. Obviously, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's an opportunity for Lamine Yamal to cement how good he actually is. As a 17-year-old, he's blown us all away with his potential. Obviously, we recognise he can win games and important games. He's played over 100 games for Barcelona already. But he's playing in a very good, well-run, organised Spanish team. De La Fuente has this team absolutely purring like a kitten. It's unbelievably how well managed they are. I know they almost kind of gave up the game a little bit against France, but they switched off with such a big advantage in that semi-final. He's on a 19-game unbeaten run. You know the last team who beat them in a competitive match? Scotland beat them in March 2023.
How long's that been in the pocket for? You saw the script today.
I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. They're on a great run, obviously, in the Nations League. I think it's 13 games now they're unbeaten in the Nations League, which is great. But I was surprised because I knew it was 19 games. I actually mentioned it yesterday alongside you that it was 19 games. But I went to have a look who it actually was and figured out that it was Scotland in a qualifier. But it's just amazing to see what can happen. If you have someone like De La Fuente who's come from the system, right? And what they do, the Spanish Federation, is they do a great job of giving the opportunity to the next generation of talented coach from within their ranks. This guy's come from the youth setup into the full national team, hasn't missed a beat. And to have the success they've had, how can you potentially bet against Spain from winning yet again another trophy, especially with the talented team that he's got at his disposal?
We mentioned yesterday, it's easy to get drawn into the superstars. They're the players we like to watch, but both sides have got stacked with depth.
Oh, they're absolutely stacked with depth. I mean, obviously, Portugal are a dangerous team, and they're one of my maybe dark horses for 2026 if they continue this trend going forward. There's a little bit of youth that they have in midfield alongside that experience. The most recent game, obviously, against Germany was a good example. They were down in that game, they came back, they showed a fighting desire to get back into the game and showed some quality finishes as well. Concacaf obviously getting a massive goal for them. It's not just that midfield. Neto, Fernandes, Trincao, Silva and Neves started in midfield for them against Germany. Outstanding, right? Because it's youth and it's experience. You have Cristiano Ronaldo up top, obviously, who brings a great deal of experience, scored a tremendous amount of goals, over 200 games for his national team. You can't bet against that. But he is slowing down in some way. So you need to have pace. Where does the pace come from? Yes, in midfield, but also from the full-back position. Mendes on that left-hand side. Neves played right-hand side against Germany, which was interesting. But they're just so stacked, Portugal, and no one's really given them much of a hope, including the bookies as well. Everyone's putting their money on Spain winning this game and winning comfortably, but be careful what you wish for.
Given the Spain we saw last year and the Spain we continue to see, how do you think Portugal can get success, tactically speaking? How do you think the Portugal side can cause this Spanish side some problems?
They got to go and utilise that experience in midfield and win that midfield battle, which is not easy to do because Spain has one of the most talented midfields in our generation, and they're young and they're hungry. The question is, are they tired? That would be obviously the big answer. I'm intrigued to find out. But I do think that Portugal can overload that midfield that gives them some sort of an advantage. I mentioned already the names before, but going up against a Pedri who obviously doesn't get spoken about enough for that Spanish midfield area, you've got your work cut out for you. You've got to take your chances. And against Germany, they took their chances, they utilised the bench very well, and I think that's where Martinez can have some sort of success as well. They've got players who are sitting on the bench that can come on and have an impact in the game, similar to what we witnessed against Germany. And you got to hope that in some way, Spain looked a bit tired, right, in the last 30 minutes of that matchup against France, that you catch Spain on an off day. But 19 games unbeaten is absolutely no joke. I mentioned it already before. De La Fuente's got this team purring. They are the favourites by an absolute mile. But again, be careful what you wish for.
On the two superstars, testament to Yamal's season, but we've seen so many players come out and talk about him and how special he is. I don't think he'll fear going up against Ronaldo. I think he'll relish it. But some respectful quotes that came out from Ronaldo this week.
Yeah, obviously Cristiano Ronaldo talking brightly about his potential opportunity of winning Ballon d'Or for Lamine Yamal. And I really admire what Cristiano Ronaldo said as well. I mean, he obviously is someone who has backed his words by saying he thinks that the Ballon d'Or winner should come from a Champions League winner, which was controversial because if you remember back in 2013, he didn't win the Champions League but won Ballon d'Or that year, right? There was obviously Lewandowski who scored the most goals that year. Messi obviously did incredibly well as well, and then all of a sudden Cristiano Ronaldo ran away with that Ballon d'Or. But the comments coming out in complimentary fashion against Lamine Yamal and asking people to kind of leave him alone, allow him to have the ability to go play his game. Let me tell you something, this kid, he doesn't care. He wants the hype. He wants the media attention. He wants the pressure. He loves the big occasion, as he proved to us already in the Euros last summer, where he was exceptional. And I think what we're waiting for now, with 100 plus, 20, 30 games, including national team, under his belt, what does he do now? How does he take it to the next level? These are the games, right? These big occasion games on the biggest stage where you're competing against one of the greatest players of all time. Can you steal the show? Can you be the player that we're talking about in the headlines the next day? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
On this is the last trophy that these two teams can lift before they make it stateside for the World Cup. How big is it for those sides to lift a trophy at the end of this? It's not the one that we want to lift, but they're in a final.
Yeah, well, Portugal won it in 19, right, the inaugural edition of it, and I think it would be a massive achievement for them, as I think they can build into success. And I think maybe the pressure's not on them as much because Spain are so high favourites, with the bookmakers in particular, but also with the media members as well. I think we all believe that Spain should win this game if they play their best game. But if you can some way make this an ugly game and showcase your own true potential, which the Portuguese certainly have, and I mentioned already before, utilising that bench, those subs are going to be very important for them. I just would be very careful where you put your money in this game because a surprise might be on the cards.
And just quickly, a word on the wooden spoon, the plate competition, the third place playoff. As a player, how do you go into that game? Because it's one you have to play. You don't want to be playing that game, but two good sides who will relish going up against each other.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Germany not making the final kind of hurts my soul in some way, and I'll tell you something, the German media didn't hold back in the criticism in their direction. Obviously they were beaten and they shouldn't have been beaten, but were beaten by the Portuguese. I think there's room for improvement, but they'll be tested against a talented French squad. France looked tired against Spain. I really believe they look tired. So if you come up against another French squad that is tired, you might have an opportunity. But I think they're going to change. You saw Cherki right there on the picture. Yeah, I think he starts this game. And he had an unbelievable game when he came off the bench. He obviously got himself involved in the goal scoring, but he is someone who can pick a pass that so few players can. He's so talented, and we don't speak enough about him because he finished 6th in Ligue 1 last year.
Do you think this game, the third place playoffs, is more important for Germany, overcoming that hurdle, playing against the France team who's had success in recent years? Do you think this game will mean more to Germany if they can win it?
I do think it will mean more to Germany having some sort of success because they can't seem to get over this hurdle they're going through right now. It's a new generation of talent. They're not world-class players, this Germany squad. They do have a world-class talented player, obviously, in Florian Wirtz in there. Jamal Musiala, another one who's obviously world-class level, but they don't necessarily have a killer striker. They don't have a solid defence. They're still trying to improve things for the big competition in 26, which I think that is their target. I actually think quietly that it would mean a little bit more to Deschamps in this one, because I do think that people are starting to question him being in charge and being given this opportunity to have another run at another World Cup. If he doesn't have success in the third place game, maybe it doesn't mean much to him, but I do think it will take some pressure off his shoulders.